Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for the Luke Live Lounge with myself, Dan Bardell, and Tom Julian, who I must say, staying up has made you look good. Trendy Tom Julian, I've just called you. You're looking quite sharp tonight, I would say. Probably the best hairstyle I've ever seen from you.
It's what I like to call straight out the shower,
All
and
good.
I've worked hard, and I literally haven't done anything with it. But I appreciate the nice sentiment. I was
Oh, I
sure
really like it.
when you whispered trendy Tom Julian just before we went live, I was sure there was something worse that was going to come. But no, it's quite a positive start. Maybe the whole thing about Aston Villa, doing better and you being a nicer person is already coming to fruition.
I mean, pretty much been stressed for the whole nearly 12 months now, isn't it, since the last season started? So we have pretty much all been stressed
Yeah.
for 12 months. So it is nice to have a little bit of respite from that stress and not having to worry about Villa going down because, of course, we have stayed up and we're all delirious about that, and we'll be going on to that in more detail. But just saying that out loud, the fact that it has been 12 months of worrying about Villa's Premier League plight, that's mad.
It is mad, and it can't be good for the ticker for anybody's health. But we don't have to worry about that for at least a couple more months. Now, the comments are already flying in. Bardell with the tan from Ben Reed. Dom
Yep.
Phillips asking how's the holiday going. So, do you want to give us a quick Spanish update before we get into the nitty gritty?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, the holiday could become quite a long-term thing. I could end up being stuck here. Very continental show tonight with coming from Germany and Spain. But no, it's good. I mean, I've pretty much been drinking non-stop since Villa stayed up. So disobeying my own rules of not celebrating finishing 17th because it's small time. But I'm on holiday, so it should be allowed. No, it's been really good. It's absolutely boiling here, and I'm having a good time with my pals.
And literally, as soon as you touch down, probably they announced the new quarantine rules. So you're gonna have to self-isolate when you get home, I imagine,
Yeah.
unless you are stuck there, like you say.
Yeah, not a big deal to me though. I mean, work from home every day anyway, so it shouldn't make too much of a difference to my life. It'll just mean I'll be around to do any videos in the summer if Villa make some big movements, which I'm hoping they will do.
Yeah, well, that will probably be for another video. I'm not sure how much of the transfer targets that we'll get into today, but you have noticed already, I imagine, that all of the Sky sources, we're linked with this guy, oh, I'd love to get this guy. It's already started, hasn't it? There's a tidal wave, I would say, of oh yeah, we should go in for him. We should go in for him. Football doesn't sleep when it comes to transfer rumours.
No, I mean, and they've got to obviously have it more condensed this time round as well. So they're having to get all their a load of rubbish rumours into a shorter space of time. The papers and whoever else comes up with all the rumours, all the clickbait. So they're having to work in a smaller time frame, aren't they? But we'll be linked with hundreds of players as ever. I imagine we'll sign about 4 or 5, maybe. I'm not sure on the outgoings at the moment, but it should hopefully be. I mean, last summer was exciting, wasn't it? Because we've signed a lot of players, and obviously you haven't seen half of them play. You do start to get excited because everyone looks like a world beater on YouTube. But I think this summer will hopefully be a little more cutthroat. If you know what I mean, we'll move a little bit quicker. We'll be a little bit more concise in what we're doing, and we'll see some good players that we can get excited about through the door. Hopefully for me, some proven players.
Yeah, well, so the guy that won't be pulling the strings and bringing those players in is Suso Patac. He left the club yesterday. Probably the first bit of business done since Premier League survival was confirmed. Dan, this has been a kind of a very well-known rumor from all parts that Suso wasn't long for staying in the job, and it's a bit of business that's all done and dusted now. So happy with that and ready to move on.
I don't say happy because I don't think I'm ever happy when someone loses their job, but it hasn't really worked, and it sounds like from what's coming out in the press that it's not working at all at the moment. And Suso and Perslow had some difficulties, and I think the stuff that's come out about Suso today, I don't know whether you've seen it, the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. I don't, personally, in my opinion, I don't think Perslow's perfect. I can imagine him to be quite difficult to work with, and I'm sure more stuff will be coming out in the coming weeks about their relationship. But it's not a surprise, is it? Because we all knew it was happening, so no one was surprised by the news he was going. It's hopefully that if they're planning to keep with that model, they've got someone lined up, because Otherwise, who is in charge of transfers? It'd be great if it was Dean Smith, but I don't imagine that would be how it exactly works. So that's something that we need to press on and try and get sorted quite quickly. But you'd imagine there's been going on behind the scenes. I've not really seen anyone linked. I've seen Dan Ashworth mentioned, but I presume that's just people saying who they might like, and that would be something that I wouldn't be against. But that's all rumour and speculation as far as I know.
Yeah, I think you referred to it earlier. Guillaume Balaguer made some comments on the Suso relationship with Purslow, and I think it should be worth noting that when Suso first arrived in April 2018, it was Guillaume Balaguer wrote a glowing piece. So they're obviously old pals. There was obviously some kind of support there, I imagine. But like you say, I think it is these things often do fall in the middle somewhere. And they're both ambitious people. They're both at the top of their game. Suso won a lot with Valencia and Atletico Madrid. He's got a stellar reputation, or at least a stellar pedigree. Didn't really work out at Villa, and Purslow as well as worked for some of the biggest clubs in the world. So if they've got two uncompromising styles, which it seemed like they did according to Balaguer's comments, then there was always going to be trouble in paradise. And Purslow seems to have won that power struggle. And now, like you say, it'd be interesting to see who comes in. As I say, I don't think there's anybody actually confirmed other than what people would like so far. So that remains to be seen. But like you, I hope that the business is done early so we can get a clear transfer policy that has Dean Smith's backing.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be an agent in Belgium who's absolutely devastated. He's going to be crying into his dinner tonight, isn't he? Because let's face it, the contact book seems to be pretty thin at times. Seems to only be able to get flights to Belgium to pick up players at one point. But Perslow's he's got a stake in the club, so you're never going to win that battle as Suso. And it kind of sounds a little bit like Suso has walked to me. I didn't think his contract was coming to an end this summer. I could be completely wrong, but it just sounds like it's like a mutual decision. I guess it's a mutual termination. I guess it's mutual consent. I don't know.
That's what's coming out of the Guillaume Balaguer camp, which again you have to take with a little bit of pinch of salt. I think that it's the Suso side of the argument for sure. So I don't think we really, well, I certainly don't know. And it sounds like you don't know either in terms of, hang on, I've just seen a comment. Ben Reed, who says, Bardell as sporting director, Julian as kitman. I mean, if anything...
A bit harsh on you, I think.
It should be the other way around, if anything, with your expert knowledge of kits and my expert knowledge of transfers and finances. I think we need to split that up and spin it around.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, even if you were kit man, suddenly Villa's kits would be made by all the charity shops and stuff. There'd be all sorts going on. People wouldn't like the new shirts, because that's the only place you get your clothes from usually. Apart from I can see that Luke sorted you out with some gear, so there's a first time for everything.
Luke Roper's sorted me out for the Luke Live Lounge. He can sort you out too as well. So if you do fancy, oh my gosh, if you do fancy to getting yourself a little discount, head to luke1977.com. Use the code TVV20 for 20% off almost everything. The only thing that doesn't count in that is the Dapper Villain range, because 30% of proceeds for the Dapper Villain range go to the University of Birmingham Hospitals Trust. We'll be giving away some more of the Dapper Villain range later on, including a 225 quid jacket. So make sure you stick around for that, because that's a tasty bit of kit. So Suso is out the door, Dan, and Dean Smith, as we mentioned earlier, stays. He was one that we thought might be on his way out, even if Villa did stay up. And now all the news is saying that Smith is here to stay. He's going to be given a little bit of a transfer fund to spend, and it's going to be Smith's team going forward.
Yeah, and so it should be. I mean, I think I'm obviously going to be speculating, but I've got an idea in my head of what I think has transpired. And what I will say is I think Villa have potentially sounded out some other managers, and that maybe the plan was to replace Dean, but it seems to now be a feel good that swept over the club in the last 4 games. Because even if we were going to stay up at one point, it didn't look like there was going to be a good feeling around it, because we were just so turgid. But the last 4 games They've kind of turned it all around. The players, importantly, because they are the important ones, they love Dean Smith and they want to work under Dean Smith and want him to keep the job. You can see that they all like him. Ex-players that have left the club in the last year, they all talk very highly of him as. I've learned a hell of a lot from a season in the Premier League, having been a rookie Premier League manager for a year, and he'll only become better from that experience, and hopefully he'll be able to work with a bit less constraints this time round, be able to do things his own way a little bit more. There'll be a bit more trust in the manager, which is something I want to see, and we'll have a good summer. But for me, absolutely the right call that Dean Smith should be the Aston Villa manager next season, because for me, he 100% deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely. What about the whole team around him then, from Kelly to Terry to Neil Cutler, the goalkeeping coach? Do you expect the whole team then to stay, or are we still expecting Terry to maybe head to Bristol City or potentially another job?
Well, Chris Hughton's gone to Bristol City, I think, or that was happening just as I was about to go away. I don't know whether it's gone through, but I think he has gone. I'm sure he went just as I was going away. So John Terry's a funny one, because it wouldn't surprise me to see him leave this summer, but there's got to be a job. I don't think there's going to be a high turnover of managers now at the end of the season, because the way the world is, I just don't see that's going to happen. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Terry leave. I think O'Kelly and Cutler are trusted lieutenants of Smith. Neil Cutler, very, very good at what he does, really highly rated as a goalkeeping coach, and someone who you can tangibly say has improved the goalkeeping situation at Villa Park. I mean, I know Neeland wasn't great when he came back after the break, but before that, you could really say that he working under Cutler had been really good for him. So Neil Cutler's proven and one of the best younger goalkeeping coaches in the country. So he's a real good person for us to have around. And O'Kelly's worked with Smith for years. I wouldn't be against seeing someone fresh come in amongst it as a coach if John Terry did leave, though. I think someone who knows the Premier League a little bit better, that's what I want to see from Villa this summer. I want to see people that know the Premier League coming into the club, and I think an experienced Premier League coach would be a good thing, as well as some key Premier League signings in key areas.
Don Phillips says Craig Shakespeare in an assistant role. Maybe he's the kind of experience that you're potentially looking for. I'm sure there's a few options there, and now Villa remain as a Premier League club. That's a very attractive option. Just to confirm, Chris Hughton hasn't taken any job just yet. There's a potential he's interested in the Watford job as well, via a quick Google search just then. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what's happened with what's happening with John Terry. Adam Wright says Cutler has done a good job with set pieces as well. So there's a whole. It kind of feels like it's one of those. This is a bit of a sliding doors moment, hopefully, where we could have gone down, got rid of the whole coaching staff, and started completely again. Now we have this opportunity to build this relatively young coaching staff into hopefully a kind of management structure that's going to keep us in the Premier League for many years to come, and not only just keep us there, but keep us building and growing.
Yeah, I'm quite a fan, though, of freshening things up a little bit within the coaching staff. If you think of Alex Ferguson's teams, he used to do mini rebuilds all the time, didn't he, Alex Ferguson? And he used to freshen his assistant manager up quite often. I can think of Carlos Queiroz, Steve McLaren, Mike Phelan. So he changed things. He was always there, but he changed things, and it keeps people motivated and it keeps them interested. And rather than changing the manager, it's just having a coach as a different voice to me would be quite a big thing if you freshen it up every now and again. So like you, I want to see this youngish coaching team moulded into a coaching team. Moyes was at Everton for years, and they were pretty consistent with what they were doing when he was there. That's what I want to see from Villa, is try and be the best of the rest, and have a coaching team and a manager who've been at the club long term, but just keep that little bit of freshness as well.
Absolutely. One of the players actually on the pitch that's keeping everybody not necessarily guessing, but his future is up for grabs. It's Jack Grealish. There are now stories I mentioned earlier. It's all the Sky sources coming in that Man U interest has cooled because the price has gone up. Villa now maybe not in such a pressurised situation to sell Grealish. From your understanding, Dan, is Grealish still out the door, or is it an up in the air situation as we speak?
Well, the last 5-6 months, I've been very emphatic about what I understood and thought was going to happen with Jack leaving, and I don't think it's as clear cut now. That the staying up's obviously a very big thing to me. We were definitely going down, so that was a contributing factor. But you kind of get the feeling at the moment that something might have changed a little bit. He could very, very well still end up leaving, but he has got 3 years left on his contract. The owners will be absolutely desperate to keep him. It wouldn't surprise me if they chuck some money at him and tried to get him to stay. I don't think it's about money for him, in fairness. I think he would probably just want to test himself at the highest level. But because of the way the world is, and I was thinking about this earlier, COVID actually could have completely saved Aston Villa's season, really, because the mini break did do us some good and we did rejig a few things and sort ourselves out. But it could also impact Jack's future as well. It could end up, because people have got less time, they won't potentially be able to throw as much money around as they would have done. It could end up that he does end up staying, but there's going to be interest from him. I mean, Greg said in The Athletic that he wouldn't rule out him going abroad as well. So there's definitely going to be tangible interest in Jack Grealish. But a day like he had on Sunday, keeping his team in the Premier League, and you can see what it means to him for Villa to do something of note. You can see all the pictures on social media of how much it means to him, the pictures of him and Dean Smith.
Yeah.
You never know that could just play a part.
Mark Mitchell says you should never believe Sky sources. Bucky, I think JG is off in January. Andy Brogan, Grealish definitely stays. And Rod Humble, bored of the Grealish speculation, just ignore it. Let's focus on our club. But to be fair, Rod, he's the captain of our club, so yeah. I think we're definitely focusing on the club. If he goes and leaves, then maybe we'll stop talking about it. But hopefully not. And like you say, maybe the Smith decision is impactful in Jack Grealish's future. We shall see.
He loves Dean Smith. He absolutely adores Dean Smith, by the way.
Yeah. What did he tweet?
You just don't know.
He tweeted "my gaffer," didn't he? And a heart and a picture of him hugging Mr. Smith. And you can't underestimate that kind of faith in a player. If there's any doubt in Jack Grealish's mind that he's going to go to Man U or Man City and sit on the bench, whereas he's absolutely loved here and we're still a Premier League team and there's an opportunity to grow, that's a massive thing for a young player. I'm kind of the opinion, I think we all are, that he's good enough to play in a European team. It's just sometimes as a young player you're good enough, but you just don't get the opportunity, or it just doesn't fit right, and that's a gamble. We've seen that happen before, and so I think it's important for Grealish to take maybe a couple of weeks to really work out what he wants. He's now in this kind of jubilation phase where he's just done everything he could have possibly done to keep his boyhood club up, and the emotions will be as high as his spirits. But now he needs to kind of take a level head, really think about his future, what he wants to do, and whether that lies with Villa or not. I think it'd be an interesting time, and only he and his family can work that one out. Yeah,
he's leaned on very heavily at Villa. I know his opinion is very highly thought of by the hierarchy at the club, Jack, as well. So he has a lot of sway. As I say, I have been absolutely emphatic about it. And if I take my Villa hat off, and I was speaking as a neutral, I would say he should go. Obviously, I don't want him to go because I'm a Villa fan, but I think he needs to be playing at the absolute highest level, which he isn't going to do at Villa for the foreseeable future. But as a Villa fan and wanting us to do well and wanting us to keep our best players, Jack Grealish is completely irreplaceable. If he leaves, there is nothing we can do in the transfer market to offset that, in my opinion.
Ben Reed says Grealish spotted in Barcelona airport, according to Sky sources. I can confirm he's just joining Dan on holiday. He's just going to the party villa in Spain. If there was if you could only strengthen one position on the pitch, Dan, this transfer window, which one would it be? Where would you focus your attention?
Well, obviously striker. We need a goal scorer at the football club. If we don't solve that again in the summer, then next season will again be a struggle, because you need someone to put the ball in the back of the net. So we need sort of the wings as well, but striker is an absolute must. Yeah. I don't know who. Callum Wilson was mooted in the last show we did, wasn't he? I don't think he'd be a bad sign. He's a local boy as well. I think he's possibly born in Sutton Coldfield. He's definitely a Brummie lad. So Callum Wilson would fit the kind of profile of the signing that I was saying, in terms of he's Premier League established. I think I could see him playing the way Dean Smith wants his sides to play as well. I can see him playing in that system. So there's a couple of players at Bournemouth I wouldn't mind. I know they've gone down, but they've got a couple of really good players there who I wouldn't mind Villa having. So striker absolutely has to be sorted, because if it isn't, we'll struggle again. Yeah, if we can get the stats page up, producer Adam, we can have a look at our top goal scorer, which was Grealish
in the end. I think Wesley came in. This Premier League goals. Wesley comes in on 5, but that's in third. Trezeguet, obviously, with his 3 post lockdown, sneaks into second place. But it's a pretty dismal total, isn't it? Obviously, that's not Wesley's fault. He only played half the season, and maybe he would have added to that as well. But it just shows Grealish, top goals, top assists. I must admit, I thought Conor Hourihane had more assists than that. But that really does show how kind of in need of a goal scorer we are.
Yeah, Connor was in and out of the team, wasn't he? At one point in lockdown, it felt like he completely established himself in the best 11. But throughout the season, really, he was in and out. If he'd have played more games, he'd have had more assists than Jack, I would say, and probably be sitting on somewhere around 5 goals as well.
One of the things that surprises me there, Dan, is the tackles in second with Marvelous Nakamba, who has kind of played intermittently, I would say, but to finish second in the tackles seems crazy to me.
I mean, pretty much from September through to February, March. Yeah, I mean, McGinn missed a lot of games, but Nakamba was pretty much a mainstay from September through to March. So there's a big jump from Nakamba in second to Gilbert above him in 74. So it shows you that we weren't doing too well at getting the ball back through a period. Certainly, I mean, he's 39 interceptions as well for your defensive midfielder. That feels a little bit low, but I'd need a barometer just to see where that sits in the rest of the league. Unfortunately, I didn't ask producer Adam for that, though, so I'm not going to be able to have a look at that.
We'll let you off because you're on holiday. Rich Griffiths there saying Wesley is still going to come good. There's been a few comments like that. Is Wesley the right man next season? Do you think he plays a big part next season? Obviously, you've highlighted striker as a must improve area. Do you think there's any chance that Wesley is our first choice number 9 to start next season?
He not because of ability, but he absolutely shouldn't be.
Right.
Because he's coming back from a really bad injury, and you never hit the ground running straight away after a bad injury like that. We've seen McGinn coming back from an injury that it took him a while to get himself going. So even if Wesley long term is the plan as the main man, the number 9, there needs to be another striker, a goal scorer there starting the season, because Samatta, maybe a proper pre-season would do Samatta good, but I wouldn't be happy going into the season with Samatta, Davis and Wesley as the 3 striking options. There absolutely has to be 1, maybe even 2 strikers brought into the football club of note in the summer.
So Borja Baston probably not going to make it.
No. I mean, wherever Suso ends up, he might follow him there, I guess.
I saw Wes Hoolahan has just signed for Cambridge United, so we missed out on him as well.
One day we'll get him. One day.
We should try a bit harder next time, move a bit faster. It's true. The other thing, Dan, I wanted to get to tonight before we let you go, because you're on holiday, you shouldn't be spending all your time with me.
Absolutely not.
Was all this Bournemouth? I'm inclined to say nonsense. There's been reports that Bournemouth are investigating legal appeals for the ghost goal that never was, the Sheffield United ball that quite clearly crossed the line, but for whatever reason wasn't given by the goal line technology. What do you make of that, first of all?
Joke. Farcical, isn't it? I mean, you could go. I know you can't predict what would have happened at that game if that had gone in. Like, anything could have happened off the back of that. And there's been every team will have had dodgy decisions. Villa have been the victim of some awful decisions and some awful VAR technology calls through the season. I don't think there's really a leg to stand on from Bournemouth. It's pretty desperate, isn't it? I know, obviously, they're very disappointed to go down, but nothing's going to happen with that. Absolutely nothing. Villa aren't going to get punished for that.
I think we've seen these things before, haven't we, where Team X launches legal appeal to try, but I don't think it ever even gets anywhere at all. I saw the I don't know if it was a joke, but the change petition to try and
I saw that.
Get it. It had like 7 signatures. I've never seen a petition fail so horribly as that. Even the Bournemouth fans aren't signing it.
I know that's really bad. Well, 7 is around for probably 50% of their attendance, isn't it? The ground's very, very, very small, so maybe they are all getting involved. I don't know. Yes, that number did look low. I saw that and thought you can have a petition for anything nowadays, and probably at least get treble figures for it. I could start a random petition now, and I reckon we might get somewhere near 100, maybe.
Yeah.
It just sore losers, isn't it? They had enough. They had ample time to make up the deficit. Were they even ahead of us at that point? I can't even remember. But do you know what I mean? 10 games passed after that, so
yeah,
start you crying.
That's it. I think I saw I didn't think I saw a table going around on Twitter, which was all the VAR. If VAR hadn't existed, what the table would look like, and I think Villa was 16th. The bottom three was exactly the same. What I thought was most interesting was in that table, Wolves finished third.
Really?
So if anybody wants to cry about disappointing decisions, then it's the Wolves fans, because they seem to have got the raw end of the deal there. Manchester United obviously slipped much further down, I think into fifth rather than third, with all their penalties.
You shot me. How many penalties did they have? 19, 20 was it in the end? They had a staggering amount of penalties.
I think it was
how many penalties? We only got like 2 or 3 all season ourselves. I think it was 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the total was. I think Man U set a record though for the amount of penalties they had this year. So even more than the Ferguson era, which was infamous for a few dodgy decisions. Listen, Dan, I want to cut this one a little bit short tonight because, like I say, you're on holiday, but we do have some business to go to. Oh, there we go. Are we seeing penalties here? Penalties scored by Villa, 1. Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah, I can't even remember it. I remember us missing 2 penalties, Wesley and Jack. I don't remember us scoring a penalty.
No.
I have no memory of that at all.
I did think this was interesting, though. I was looking at this earlier in terms of just comparing the Villa and the Bournemouth, and generally I think we outdo them on most of the statistics. So I thought that was good to see.
I remember the penalty.
Go on.
El Ghazi, Man City, when was the score at that point 10-0.
Yeah.
And we got a penalty last kick of the game.
There you go. Well, we don't need to remember that again until it happens next season, and hopefully we can account ourselves a little bit better next year. All right. I want to get to the Luke Live Lounge competition. Every week we've been giving away a selection from the Dapper Villain range, courtesy of Luke1977.com. This is the beautiful Dr. Venglos coat, which obviously inspired by Dr. Joseph Venglos. Do you remember him well, Dan?
I mean, I know his name, but I don't think I was born, was I?
Yeah, it was 1990.
I was born in 1990.
He's the first Villa, first foreign manager in the top flight, according to my Google research. Only lasted a year at Villa, and ended up taking us to 17th in the table. So not a great season. But anyway, so I'm not sure why the name's been chosen by Luke Roper, but it has. Anyway, this coat is a £225 piece of kit, so it's very, very nice. And Luke has given it to us specially in celebration of Villa staying up. So what we're going to do with this one is we're going to have a competition on Instagram. There's a post that you need to comment on. If you like the Villa View, if you like Luke 1977, and then you comment on the post, you will be in with a chance of winning this lovely bit of kit. That's all we need to do, isn't it, Dan, in terms of winning that? You and I unfortunately can't win it. That would look a little bit dodgy, but we're going to draw a winner on Friday afternoon, this coming Friday. So it'll be a nice Friday treat, payday for some as well. So make sure you get your name in the ring for that one, because it's a great bit of kit, and it'll look very, very smart.
Yeah, lovely piece of equipment. I was going to say, because you keep calling it kit and it's confusing me. It's a really nice jacket, and obviously we appreciate that Luke and his team have given us an item of clothing every week to give away, which is a really good thing for us to be able to do, and helps with engagement and things like that. So yeah, a big one to finish on. Yeah,
and we have our competition winner from last week as well. Our competition on Twitter was to win the Yippee-Yi-Yay. Again, another lovely jacket in pewter width. white, which is kind of like an off-white. It was a terrible joke last week, and I don't know why I tried it again, to be honest. But we picked a winner earlier. Richard Johnson is the winner of that one. So well done, Richard. Get in touch with the Villa View or with Dan and somebody. Well, actually, don't get in touch with Dan. I'll give Dan a week off. He's on holiday. What a nice guy.
I mean, so far since I've been away, I've literally been doing stuff like this every night. I haven't been on the radio or done something of some description.
Well, the season has ended now, so this is the last one I'm going to call on you for. Richard, if you get in touch with me or get in touch with the Villa View, we'll make sure we get that to you. And if you aren't lucky enough to win our Dr. Venglos jacket, you can use the discount code TVV20 for 20% off. As I say, just go to luke1977.com, use TVV20, and you can get 20% off almost everything. As Dan already said, there is a great help for us if you can use that code. It's obviously good for Luke, but it's good for us as well. Shows that you guys are engaged with us, and we massively appreciate that as well. We've done quite a shorter show tonight. One, because Dan's on holiday. Two, because it's time to reflect on the season, work out exactly what we're going to do next year as the Villa View. We've done, I think, 18 shows in the last 6 weeks. You've obviously done your other podcasts and your other bits and pieces as well, Dan. So I think it's time for a well-earned break. But for you and I, we're going to work out what we do now. Obviously, I'll be staying in Germany. You'll be back in the UK in not too long, hopefully. But we'll make a plan for what we do forward and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we did hit 20k subscribers, didn't we, at the weekend? So that's a good thing. I'm presuming you still haven't spoken to your wife.
I mentioned that we went over 20k subscribers. She went, "Oh, hold on."
Obviously, but she was clearly buzzing for us. It's a big achievement, and she rightly congratulated you in that way.
Yeah, she's not so impressed on the digital numbers, but we'll see. We'll win her round.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's been good to come back, obviously, isn't it? Because it was a bit unexpected from us. We didn't know that we were going to come back, but obviously the way the world's been, and no one being able to go to games has enabled us to carve a little niche and get a couple of live shows going. So I've enjoyed doing it, Tom. It's been really good. It's been nice to get engaged with people that watch the Villa View. Again, I'm not going to lie, I did actually really miss it when we stopped doing it as well. I miss talking to you every week, and the way that we've done this has enabled me to stay in touch with you every week, and we're basically doing the same thing that we were doing. So it's been really, really good, but we'll hopefully come back. Hopefully we'll be able to make it work, but obviously we'll let everyone know on the various social media channels what's going on. Hopefully it's not the end.
Well, let's see. Hopefully not, indeed. And before I forget, we do have one more competition which we launched on Sunday night. We are giving away the 2020-2021 Villa home shirt on release day. So we're gonna buy one and we're gonna give it to one of you guys. All you need to do is go to thevillaview.tv and you can click on a link there, or you can send your name in an email to win@thevillaview.tv. All the terms and conditions are on the villaview.tv website. There's a couple of links on there. You can subscribe to our newsletter and also hit the links on all of our social channels. Again, that helps us grow. And if we are going to carry on next year, which I think we both hope that we are, following those and being on our newsletter and that kind of thing will really help us to secure some growth and continue providing these shows, because that's what we want to do. Finally, before we go, I should say thank you to Luke Roper and all the team at Luke 1977. They've been massively supportive of what we do, and we couldn't have done it without them. So thank you to all of the team and all of the team at the Villa View behind the scenes as well. We thank them all on Sunday, so I'm not going to do it again. Their heads will get too big. But it's been a real team effort here. Dan and I appear on the screens, but there's a lot of work going behind the scenes. So thank you to all of them, and thank you to you guys that keep on commenting, keep on getting involved. That's why we do this thing. So thank you to you. We can all carry on enjoying Villa being a Premier League team for another season. So that feels good. I think that's about it, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, the good news from all this is that the way everything's just been explained is if we don't come back, everyone knows it's nothing to do with me. It's not my fault. You will get the full blame. So that's a good thing.
I mean, if we never come back, then nobody's going to win the home shirt, and I'm gonna pocket that one. So everyone's a winner. No, we'll be back, and we will give away the shirt legitimately. I promise. All right, that's it. Enjoy the rest of your holiday, Dan. We'll speak soon, and the rest of you, hopefully, we'll see you soon.